Hello fellow old schoolers. So this is a series of games against a blue-white control deck, and here's mulligan down to 6 cards here, starting off with a Tundra into a Sol Ring. And we get the trusty old Library of Alexandria turn 1. That's nice. Okay, so he puts out a Chaos Orb and immediately orbs it, and I draw a card from it. So at least there's that. Well, that was pretty unfortunate, or fortunate, depending on which side of the table you're on. Oh yeah, so I put out 2 Candelabra of Taunus here. Oh, imagine if we had that library at this point. That would be 3 cards a turn. Granted, it will... okay, that's the 3rd Candelabra. It would just be bonkers if he hadn't removed that Library of Alexandria. That's too bad. Okay, but he puts out a Mrs. Factory, so now he's... can actually apply some pressure, but... we have a Mace of Fifth in hand to defend. He elects to attack with it, and we order it to go home with the Mace of Fifth. That's a 2nd Mace of Fifth. And I don't know what the archetype is here. If he has like Serendipity Freaks, Serra Angels, if he's that kind of control deck, or judging by the board state, it could be the deck actually with those Silver Stones. So we put out a Power Surge. Yes, 3 mana, and we have the Candelabra of Taunus to untap his lands. And he considers it a bit. Perhaps he has a counterspell in hand, but it doesn't do anything about it. I reckon he can disenchant it later on if he wants to. I have those Mace of Earth, I can't really use them. He tries to attack me, and I order it to go home. So that was probably not the best idea for him, because now I can tap my Mace of Earth so I don't take as much damage, and then I can use my even more mana to untap his factories so I don't take any damage. So I believe that was a mistake on his part, as I have a lot of lands. I'm not really sure about that Power Surge actually. Okay, so he mana shorts me here, and that'll actually tap the Maces of Earth, so it will give me 4 points of damage right there, and I won't have any mana to untap his lands, so it will save him 2 points of damage at least. So after some consideration, I like to counterspell it. It's debatable if that's worth using a counterspell on, but I guess it depends on what I have in hand. And also, I guess it's 6 points of damage. So there's that. So we just slowly bleed him out with that Power Surge, and those Candelabra of Taunus, holding his factories back with the Maces of Earth. And then he casts Armageddon. That's pretty smart. So now he can't use the Felva Stones, but I have a Sol Ring, and at the moment I lay a land, the Felva Stones will be online. And I do so, and I Time Walk immediately, trying to get into the game. So at the moment that Power Surge only damages myself. And then I think I Earthquake for 2. I'm not sure why. That's a Mana Flare. So now, for my part, I actually have 4 Mana Flares now, because I have those 3 Candelabras, and they can just keep up. I can just keep on untapping the lands and tapping them again. So that's sufficient mana now. I don't need to make any more land drops. And oh, that's another Mana Flare. And his mana curve is probably so low that he can't use all that mana. And he just slowly dies from that City of Brass damage, that untapped City of Brass slowly damaging him, from the Power Surge. And So I shatter his Filbur Stone using as much mana as I can. Not really sure how it works because there's no mana burn, so I can actually just tap my lands, but he counters it, taking a damage from the City of Brass. I forgot to make a land drop here, and I do so. It's just a friendly game. Okay. So he taps the City of Brass for 3 blue mana and puts out a copy artifact, copying a Candleflare Taunus and using it to untap one of my lands. And I think the reason why I threw down that Earthquake before is because I will both take damage, so I just want to slowly destroy him because he's on way fewer life than I am. So we do a lot of tricks here, and then we just fireball him for sufficient damage. But he has a counterspell in hand, so survives for now. So I untap his City of Brass, making sure that he takes damage from the Power Surge. And he untaps he untaps all my lands in my upkeep when the Power Surge triggers on the stack, so I take 3 points of damage now. I put down an Icy. I tap his City of Brass and then I untap it with the Filbur Stone, with the Candleflare of Taunus, so that he takes damage from the tap effect, and after that he takes damage for being untapped. And I think that's why one can't use the lands right after I untap them in the upkeep, because the Power Surge is already in effect there. So he untaps my lands in my upkeep, and I take 3 points of damage. So this is just a race to the bottom here. So I tap his City of Brass, then I untap it. And oh yeah, okay, his City of Brass was tapped, so I untapped it first, then I tapped it with the Icy Manipulator, and then I untapped it again so that he would die on the Power Surge. Had some tricky plays right there. So the Candleflare took this one. Oh my god, what a hand he has there. So this is the second round. This is after sideboarding. Gets out of Library of Alexandria, drawing an extra card immediately. We saw he had a Black Lotus and an Ancestral Recall in hand as well. Putting out the Lotus. Okay, so I'm within lower range now, and I draw with it and strip mines his Library of Alexandria. That's payback from the previous round. Okay, so he's mana screwed here. Putting out a Mace of Fifth, that's worthless at this point. I think he should have cracked his Lotus and Ancestral Recall there in order to draw into a land. And also before I get sufficient mana to counter him. Okay, but he wanted to counterspell. Okay, so he cracks the Lotus for 3 blue mana, and then he counterspells my Sol Ring and Ancestrals. That was pretty smart, actually. But I'm still riding that Library of Alexandria here. And here's the Candleflare of Taunus. Excellent. This is the first time this combination has worked, I think. Okay, so now he has his 2 blue mana. Right before it's my turn, I use the Candleflare of Taunus to untap my Library of Alexandria, and then I draw a card. Okay, so he disenchants the Candleflare of Taunus. God dang it. But we still got to try it at least once. So, putting out an island and a ruby. Shouldn't complain, the library is still intact. And his deck seems to be having some trouble putting the pressure on here. Oh, and removing that library. We know he has Armageddons in it, so I presume there are creatures as well, but I'm not sure. So he mana shorts me and I just counterspell him. I want to have my turn. I also want to draw cards with the library. He did it in my upkeep, yeah. So the lands for the counterspell is still tapped. I'm presuming I have more countermeasures in the hand, as I wouldn't normally counter a mana short without having even more back. Okay, so he mana shorts me again. Okay, we just red blasts it. Really don't like those mana shorts, I suppose. Okay. Okay. So he attacks with the factory for the first time, and I take 2 points of damage. I wonder why he doesn't play his time. I think he has a time twister in hand. I think he should have played it while I was tapped out in order to get back into the game. But he has a mana drain in hand as well. Perhaps he reckons that his position is better because he has the factory going for him. So there's 2 mana flares there. Oh, he drew into an Armageddon here. Yeah. It's a difficult decision, but I'd cast it. Definitely, I'd attack first and then cast it. So he does so. He needs to get rid of that library ASAP. Okay. So he's tapping 6 mana here. And then he disenchants one of the mana flares. Okay, my bad. It wasn't an Armageddon. Too bad for him. It's just a disenchant. And I don't mind him disenchanting a mana flare. That's fine. They're more where they came from, and actually I'm more interested in getting a Candleflare of Taunos out right now. Just to ride the lower even more, but also to at some point just getting the fireball. There's perhaps one here. Yeah, I just fireball him and he counters and I counter his counter. So boom. That was a lot of damage right there. I think he's at maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6, 7 life. It was a big one anyway. So he throws down a time twister here, reckons that he needs to get back in, and I actually had a second fireball in hand, so good for him. Or he would be fireballed out the next turn. So that gave him a lot of card advantage. Oh, well, it rectified some of the card advantages I've been accumulating over the past few rounds. As I had to discard an almost full hand. So it puts out a book. That's a solid play under a mana flare. It'll help him. I'm completely tapped out and at his mercy here. Really thought I had him because I could follow up with a fireball the next turn and I had counter magic as backup. Okay, so he attacks me with the factory and passes the turn to me. So he has sufficient mana to make his counter magic work. Okay, here's the Candleflare of Taunos. So now we can really rack up the mana here with that mana flare. Okay, he disenchants it immediately. I put down a factory. It's too bad though, because that Candleflare could have worked with the library I set in as well. So I choose to time walk here. He's almost dead by now, but he has that Mesophyth to protect him against the factory. Okay, so trying to shatter the book, and he chooses not to counter it. I imagine why. It was a hard loss for him, but he had to keep his defenses up against the next fireball. Okay, so he tries to Chaos Orb my Library of Alexandria, but as a response I shatter the Chaos Orb. And I've said in a previous video that actually works, because a condition of the Chaos Orb is that it has to stay on the table for it to work. Okay, so now he balances. That's a good attempt to keep me out of lower range, as he's down to 2 cards here. So I'm discarding a Mox Sapphire and a Black Lotus. Don't need the mana at this point. And he considered attacking with that factory, but I have a blocking factory in place. Okay, passes the turn to me. So I activate the factory and then I copy it. Lost most of my hand here. I try to fireball him, but he counters me, and then I Time Twister. I do this in order to get back into Library of Alexandria range and trying to finish the game, perhaps drawing into another fireball. Okay, so he's drawn Disenchant, Ancestral Recall, a Blue Blast. That'll help him. So he's actually secure here against the fireball. Okay, I have an Ancestral Recall as well. It's a lot of mana. Putting out a Black Lotus again. Another factory. 3 factories now. All we need is a Candelabra of Taunus and they'll go to town. And then I pass the turn. Gets another Blue Blast here. This is really an epic game, actually. Trying so hard to kill him, but he's got so many countermeasures. But he needs to do something about that Library of Alexandria. I'm still within lower range. So he doesn't charge the copy artifact. And I think I probably use it to, I don't know if I boost out one of the factories with it. And then he Blue Blasts the Mana Flare. I think that's probably a bit too aggressive. He needs those to keep alive. Those Blue Blasts in order to block the fireballs. Because even without the Mana Flare, the fireballs are lethal at this point. But I'm sure he has his reasons. Soaring, drawing more with the Library of Alexandria. What a match. It just keeps on going. Really considering something here. Putting out yet another Mana Flare. No counter. And another Mana Flare. So that's what I mean. I don't think he should have used the Blue Blast on them. There's so many. Okay. So this is just a big mess, but what is happening? Okay, I'm tapping a bunch of mana. It's 3 mana a piece, and then I just fireball him. He tries to counter, and I have a counter spell to back it up. So that's game right there. 2-0 against the blue-white control deck. Never really got into play, I think. He was on the defensive the entire match. I'm not sure what the type of deck he had. I didn't see any creatures, so it must be some sort of control variant. I also think he packs control magics and other stuff in the first game that he couldn't really use against me. So after this one, I'm not sure what deck will meet, or if it's more matches against the blue-white deck. It could be. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.